I will if I need to. All right, class. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. All right, let's go over some expectations before we begin this lesson. I'll wait for all of our friends to be quiet and their eyes are on me and they're focused. Just get a whiteboard and a pencil, and you can just sit where you're at right now, okay?
Okay.
So get a whiteboard, and then I'll give you what you need. Addie, and there you go. Okay, class. So today we're going to be. I'll wait for all of our friends to be quiet and have their eyes up here. I see. Wow, Ariana's doing a great job listening. I just gave her a ticket maybe 10 minutes ago for being the first one to follow those expectations, and now she's getting another one. Okay. So we're going to do a little refresher of our 3 branches of government, but before we begin, I want us on the back side of this to make our a KWL chart. Does anyone know what that is? Hey, Alex, put that on your desk, please. You don't need that right now. It's a distraction. Put that on your desk and join us. Yes, Scarlett.
L stands for no.
Okay.
Want to know and when.
Yes, perfect. So no. Want to know. And then learn. So I want us all. Yep, I see we're all flipped on the back side and make our KWL chart here, just like Joey did. That's perfect. Can I show yours to the class, Joey?
Wait, yeah.
That is. See, Joey did it just like this. He has the K, W, and L. Hey, David, I need to see your eyes, friend. Hey, Addie, I need to see your eyes, friend. So I want us all to take a minute and write down what we already know about the 3 branches of government, okay? I know we all know at least one thing about it. So I want to see our pencils writing. Hey, Chris, can you sit over here by Scarlett? Move up here by Scarlett, please. Okay, hey, CJ. Yeah, here, I'm just going to put it over here. Hey, CJ, did you hear my instructions? Did you hear my directions? Okay, so can you do that for me, please? Or you can just tell me, what do you already know about the 3 branches? Yep, sit by Scarlett, please. Sit by Malachi and Scarlett. Yeah, the government, the branches, they have to deal with taxes and stuff. Good, that is one thing. You know, hey, Chris, let's make sure we're not leaning on the pillow, friend, okay? So what's something, let's see, is there anything else you know? That's all you know? Okay. I see some friends have a lot written down. This is great. Okay. Would someone like to share with the class what they already know about the 3 branches of government? Alex.
They make laws and take taxes.
They make laws, they take taxes, okay. Addie?
They give money to school.
Can you say that again?
Money to schools.
Yeah, they give some money to school, okay. Joey, what do you know?
Constitution?
Yeah, the government follows the Constitution, and the Constitution created those 3 branches of government. So, wow, Joey, good connection to something we previously learned. That was awesome. And Malachi, last one to share.
All of them do something.
Yeah, they all have a specific task they do. Okay? So, we're going to go through this together, work through this together, stop for clarifications. If you have a question while we're reading, let me know. But I want everyone to flip to the front side of this now. So I'm going to wait until all of our friends are there. Okay, but make a safe choice, CJ. Okay, Sam, I'm waiting for you. Ariana's already on the front page, and Gabe is too, and Oliver and Sion. Wow, Kaylin and Colin. So many friends have followed those directions so quickly. I'm still waiting for some other friends to be on the top of this page so we can read this together. Hey, Jaden Payne, I'm waiting for you, friend. I'm waiting for you, Jaden Payne. Please turn this around so we can start reading. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to read this. I'll stop to answer questions and ask questions. Hey, Chris, scoot up a little bit, friend. Keep scooting, please. Keep on scooting. Keep on scooting. Okay, Malachi, can you put those pillows back? All right, class, once we are all following those expectations of being safe, kind, and ready, we can start reading. Wow, Addie is ready. She's being safe. She's ready to go. She's ready to learn. She's setting a great example for how we follow those expectations. Thank you. Okay, so let's read this together. The United States Constitution was written over 200 years ago, and it explains how the United States government should work. The people who wrote the Constitution did not want one person or group to have too much power. That's why they divided the government into 3 parts, known as branches. So that pretty much told us what Joey told us earlier when Joey said that he knew that the Constitution created our 3 branches. Does anyone have any questions about that? Anything that needs to be clarified? No. Oh, yes, Scarlett.
Why are the branches of government a thing?
Why are they the thing? They're a thing because the Constitution didn't want one person or one group to have all the power. So they didn't want just the president to have all the power because then he would be a king and not a president. Does that make sense? So, yeah, we want all the powers to be divided equally. Chris, do you have a question?
Why are they called the 3 branches?
That's a great question, Chris. We're going to keep reading and we're going to learn. So, here it goes. That next paragraph says, the branches are the legislative, that's branch number 1, the executive, branch number 2, and the judicial, branch number 3. Each branch has its own responsibility. So that means they each have their own job. The branches work together, but they also check each other to make sure no branch has too much power. So they check each other to make sure that they're not taking advantage of that power or, using it in a bad way. They check each other to make sure that, it's all equal, we're all working together. So does anyone have any questions about that? Oh, hey, Chris. Please don't distract our class. So we're going to learn about the first branch, the legislative branch. So the legislative branch, let's all say that together. What's the first branch called?
The legislative branch.
Awesome. So it includes the United States Congress. Hey, Scarlett, let's look up here, please. Congress is made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate. So Congress is made up of 2 things. 1, House of Representatives. 2, the Senate. So the Senate and the House of Representatives make up Congress. Okay? Hey, Malachi, go to your seat, please, and you can join us when you're ready to learn. So voters in each state elect their representation in the House of Representatives. So that means in each state we vote on who we want our representatives to be for the House of Representatives. Hey, Joey, look up here, please. Those men and women, they go to Washington, D.C., and that's where they make the laws. So the legislative branch, they're located in Washington, D.C., and the legislative branch is also made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate. Does anyone have any questions or anything they want clarified about that? Yes, Chris.
Once you said that people represent their group, who represents our group?
Oh, so who are our representatives for the House of Representatives? That's a great question, Chris, and if we have time, I would love to look that up and share that information with Scarlett. What is the Senate? Okay, so the Senate is where they go and they make the laws, and it's a part of the legislative branch, and they are in Washington, D.C. Oliver.
Why is it called legislative?
Why is it called the legislative branch? It's because they're the branch that they make the laws. So it's like I'm trying to think of a good explanation for it, Oliver. So it's like the executive branch, they're the ones they execute, they carry out the laws, right? So the legislative branch is like your writing, like literature. They're the people who write the laws, and they make the laws. Does that make sense, Oliver? Great, okay. Time to learn about the second branch. Okay, let's set that eraser down because you know how to do it. The executive branch, so what's our second branch called?
The executive branch.
The executive branch. Okay, so they have the power. Hey, Scarlett, you can join us when you're ready to learn, okay? The executive branch has the power to carry out the laws. So that means they're the ones, they enforce the laws, they carry out the laws. They're the ones who make the laws actually happen. They're enforcing it, or they're carrying it out. So the executive branch includes the president and the vice president. So who does the executive branch hold? Who does it include? We can just say it out.
The president and vice president.
President and the vice president. Okay, Jaden Payne, sit up and face me, please. And then they also have a group of advisors called the cabinet. So the cabinet is a group of people that work with the president and the vice president. And the president and the vice president, they select who they want on their cabinet. So the cabinet is like people that help them out. They help them carry out the laws, because that would be a lot of work for just the president and the vice president, right? So they have to have the cabinet to help them. Does that make sense? That would be like if Mrs. Head is the principal of our school. That would be like if she tried to teach all the classes by herself. Hey, Ariana, pick up your pencil, please. So yeah, so the cabinet is like what all the teachers are to Mrs. Head. The cabinet also helps them carry out those laws, because the president couldn't just do it by themselves.
Yeah.
So does that make sense to everyone?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so, and then every 4 years, Americans vote to elect a president and a vice president. And I think most of us already knew that. Okay. So what was the first branch we learned about? What was it called? The legislative branch. And I'll wait for all of our friends to be quiet. Does anyone remember what the legislative branch does?
Makes the laws.
Makes the laws, okay. And does anyone remember what the executive branch does? We just read about it. I want to see another hand besides Oliver. David.
You have the power to carry out the laws.
Yes, so executive branch carries out the laws. Legislative branch, they write the laws. All right, so let's learn about that last law. The judicial branch decides on the meanings of laws and whether laws breaks the rules of the Constitution. This branch includes the United States Supreme Court. Okay, so the United States Supreme Court, they are a part of the judicial branch, and the judicial branch, they decide on what the laws mean. So they don't write the laws, but they decide the meaning of it and if the laws break the rules of the Constitution. Okay, so the Supreme Court is held up of 9 justices. The President appoints the justices, and the Senate approves them. The justice, so what the justices do is they decide if the country's laws go against the Constitution. So the justices are a part of the judicial branch. Jaden Payne, look up here, please. Control your body, please. Okay, so the justice's job, they make sure that if the country's laws, they're good. They make sure they don't break the rules of the Constitution, that they're fair and just. So that's what the justices do. The justices work under the judicial branch. So does anyone know, can someone tell me, what does the judicial branch do again? Chris.
They make sure that no country breaks the rule. If in a state there is rules that there can be no president, that breaks the law. That's what they do.
So yeah, Chris said that the judicial branch, they make sure that our laws do not break the rules of the Constitution. Good explanation, Chris. Okay, I want everyone now to flip over to this page. I see we all have that one, so let's flip this open. And we're going to just work through this together as a class. So make sure that we all can understand this. So hey CJ, get this paper out please. Yes you do, I see it. Okay, class. So we're first going to learn, I'll wait for our friends to be quiet. Okay, so let's learn about the legislative branch. So does anyone remember where it's located at? Let's all pick up our pencils because we're going to be doing some writing. Yes, Alex.
Washington.
So yeah, it's located in the U.S. Capitol, which is Washington, D.C. That is perfect, okay? I'm going to write that down right here. Washington, D.C. So let's all write. Let's make sure we're writing that down. See those pencils moving. Sorry, can you see it now? So Washington, D.C. Or actually, here, I'll write it over here. I'll erase this KWL chart because we all have that up now, so we should all don't need that anymore. Okay. Does anyone want to tell the class what Congress is made up of? What, 2 parts? And Jaden Payne, please turn around, friend. And hey, David, scoot over next to the rest of the class. Okay, Gabe, what are 2 parts of Congress?
House of Representatives and the Senate.
Yeah, it's the House of Representatives. So I need to see all of our pencils moving. You can even just abbreviate that, House of Reps, Rep if you want. And then that second part is the Senate. So yes, Gabe, that's awesome. So yeah, Congress is made up of the House of Representatives and the Senate. And a little refresher for you all. Remember the House of Representatives, they're the people that, and their senators, they're the people that go to Washington, D.C. to make the laws. All right? These just follow along. We're on legislative branch. Okay. Does someone want to tell the class what responsibilities the legislative branch has? Or just what do they do when it comes to the law? Scarlett. Okay. Hey Oliver, do you want to help Scarlett out? Do you remember what does the legislative branch do?
Make the laws.
Make the laws. So yeah, so look, remember they make the laws. Remember, because the legislative branch, they're the ones, they make the laws, and they have the House of Representatives and the members of the Senate to also help go to Washington, D.C. and create those laws. All right, perfect. Hey, Chris, could you hand me an eraser, please? Thank you. All right, class. So before we move on, what does the legislative branch do? Oh, sorry. You weren't writing any of it until the very end, so that's why you need to follow along with the class. Yeah, you're okay, Julie, because you just got here. So one more time, what does which branch makes the laws? Let's all say it out. What branch makes the laws?
The legislative.
The legislative branch creates the laws. Okay. So now, our next one we're going to learn about some more is the executive branch. Okay, so we should all be on that middle column. Who would like to tell the class the location of the executive branch? Ooh, Kaylin.
The White House.
The White House. Perfect. So yes, the White House is where the executive branch is at. That's their location. Great job. Okay, and then there's two members of the branch. Okay, ooh, Colin. Yes.
President and vice president.
Perfect. President and vice president. Perfect. And then, does anyone remember who, what's the group called that helps the president and the vice president? It's their group of advisors. Joey.
The cabinet.
The cabinet. Joey, that was perfect. Yes, so remember, the cabinet is their group of advisors that helps them carry out those laws. Okay, you following along, Sam? Okay. So, when it comes to the law, what do they do? Who remembers what they do? Yes, Kaylin.
They execute the law.
So, yes, they carry out the law, right? So, I'm going to write that down. They carry out the law. So, let's compare this to the legislative branch where they make the laws. So, first the legislative branch, they create the law. And then afterwards, it is up to the executive branch to carry out that law. All right. Hey, Kristen, sit up, please. Okay. And we're going to quickly learn about our last branch. Okay, so our last branch, the judicial branch, right? Who remembers where that's located?